Alright, I love making videos about Jiu-Jitsu, and if you train too, you know exactly why. But this video is for the people who don't train. Hey, what's up everyone, Akin here. So I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for about 2.5 years, and in this video I'm gonna talk about the reasons why you should train Jiu-Jitsu too. For those of you who have no idea about what Jiu-Jitsu is, it's a martial art based on grappling and submission holds. It was developed in the 1920s by Brazilian brothers, Gracies, the most important family in martial arts, and they founded UFC later in 1993, which is the biggest MMA promotion today and everyone knows about it. First of all, the reason I started training Jiu-Jitsu is, other than watching the UFC, I was listening to Joe Rogan and Jocko Willink a lot, and I kept hearing Jiu-Jitsu from them all the time, like why they love it, the benefits, and why most people should train, etc. I trained other martial arts before and really liked them, but they were striking based, and I used to hate grappling. Then I wanted to give Jiu-Jitsu a try, and I was immediately hooked. I realized that it was something different. In a grappling scenario, unless you know Jiu-Jitsu or a really good wrestler, you can't do anything to people your size, or even the ones that are smaller than you, if they have decent Jiu-Jitsu. Now let's get into the benefits of Jiu-Jitsu. The first and the most obvious benefit is it's a great exercise. It's a full blast grappling when you spar, so it's cardio as well as a strength workout. Not many people do Jiu-Jitsu just because it's a workout, but that's the first benefit that comes with doing this beautiful and fun martial art. Another benefit of training Jiu-Jitsu is it's literally a meditation, or at least for me, but I believe many people would agree with me on that. I'll be honest, I meditate from time to time, like once a month, but I was never able to do it consistently. Then I told myself Jiu-Jitsu already is a meditation. Like once I start training, I'm not thinking about anything else but Jiu-Jitsu. Especially when I'm sparring, I'm so into the role because I'm solving problems. It's like playing chess with your body. You're dealing with countering and you're constantly setting up attacks, and you need to be thinking several steps ahead. So I have to be in it. And if I lose my focus for a second, I might get strangled. This one is a no-brainer too, but Jiu-Jitsu gives you confidence. You know that it works because you're going 100%, so you know where you stand against the full resistance. Also, you can see it in most MMA fights. Grappling might be the most important skill when it comes to fighting. The better grappler can dictate where the fight goes. If he wants to take the fight to the ground, he can take it to the ground. If he wants to fight standing, he can keep it on the feet by defending the takedowns.
If someone gives me a hard time, I want to be the one who can decide whether or not this gets violent or who gets hurt.
Because unless someone is a better grappler than you and you have a good jiu-jitsu, you can take the guy down and choke him out, and he can't do anything.
If you guys get into some sort of a tussle, and that guy grabs you and trips you, and boom, and he's on the ground with his hand on your jacket and a knee on your chest, you're a dead man. A jiu-jitsu black belt is just gonna close the distance like that evil fucking crab, and he's just gonna squeeze your fucking neck.
I'm not saying only train jiu-jitsu or grappling. You should definitely know some striking and do some boxing or Muay Thai sparring from time to time. It's very important to learn how to deal with the punches coming. You have to know how to defend yourself by blocking, by head movement, and probably the most important, distance management. Jiu-Jitsu also helps with other aspects of life. In Jiu-Jitsu, you can't just attack the guy's neck without setting it up. Like, if you telegraph your move, they could probably easily defend it. Like I just said, you should set up your attacks. If I want to attack your neck, I don't make it obvious, so I set up traps. Maybe attack your arm first, and while you defend your arm and thinking that I'm going for the armbar or the kimura, that's when I attack your neck and choke you out. Same thing in real life. For example, when dealing with your boss. Jocko Willink talks and writes about this all the time, so let's hear it from him.
If I'm dealing with you and you're my boss, and you've got a giant ego, and you've come up with a plan and I don't like your plan, should I walk up to you and say, hey Lex, your plan isn't good?
No.
Or should I say, hey Lex, can I ask you some questions about how you want us to execute this? Because I want to make sure I understand your vision.
Also in Jiu-Jitsu, you might think that you know what you're doing and have certain skills, but you realize that there's always going to be someone better than you, and you don't have all the answers all the time. You take that to a leadership scenario. If you go into a managerial position or a task that you need to manage other people, you also realize that you don't have all the answers and don't know everything, and maybe you should listen what others have to say. In that sense, Jiu-Jitsu reflects life for sure. When I first started Jiu-Jitsu, I realized that it was gonna keep me humble. I was rolling with a guy in his 40s and he was probably like 145. I was clearly stronger than him, but he submitted me like a bunch of times with ease. He was a blue belt at the time with a couple years of training, and it was my first day of training Jiu-Jitsu, so it didn't matter if I was stronger or younger than him. Since he had the skills and I didn't, I had almost no chance of getting him. Joe Rogan actually had a very similar experience when he first started training Jiu-Jitsu.
My experience with Jiu-Jitsu was very humbling when I first started out. I had a long background in martial arts and striking, and even wrestled in high school. And then I started taking Jiu-Jitsu, and a guy who was my size, and I was young at the time, and he was basically close to my age, just mauled me.
Oh, and it doesn't keep you humble only when you first start. Even if you've been training for more than 5 years, there is still someone who's gonna be better than you. So realizing that will allow you to have a growth mindset. Because the day you say you learned everything, somebody's gonna probably fuck you up. So these are the reasons why I think you should change Jiu-Jitsu. I can probably list a lot more here, so if you have other benefits that I didn't talk about, you can put them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.